Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on The House of Silk by Anthony Horowitz. Approved by the Arthur Conan Doyle estate as part of the Sherlock Holmes literary canon, The House of Silk is about an art dealer who comes to Sherlock and Watson and says that he is being followed by a wanted criminal from America. The case follows the two detectives as they make their way through the criminal underground of London, where they discover the secrets of the House of Silk, a secretive group that involves the people who are the most highest in government positions. What intrigued me the most about picking up this book was the fact that the Arthur Conan Doyle estate approved this book as part of the literary canon. So my first thought going into this book was like, well, how is this going to compare to Doyle's original Sherlock Holmes stories? I tell you what, I really loved The House of Silk. It read 100% like something Sir Arthur Conan Doyle could have wrote back in the day. It was so flawlessly crafted, and it just read like Sherlock Holmes. I guess what I was fearing going into this book was that I was wondering if Anthony Horowitz was going to turn Sherlock and Watson into like these macho action figures, and that none of Doyle's original characterization would come through. Anthony Horowitz not only managed to interweave his own personal style, but he also managed to interweave Doyle's style. Horowitz was able to take those subtle nuances of Doyle and interweave them within the narrative and create a story that at times felt old-fashioned but also felt modern for a modern reader to really get into. As for the plot itself, it does start off a bit slow, but even with Doyle's original Sherlock Holmes stories, I always kind of felt that way about the originals, is that they would start off slow and then rapidly get going, and that's very much how Anthony Horowitz starts the story, that it's kind of slow, but once it gets going, it gets going. And it's incredibly hard to put down, because you just want to keep rapidly flipping the pages and finding out what's going on. Horowitz certainly had a very intriguing story that kept me hooked from start to finish. I guess my one complaint with this book, I think it's just me personally, I had a hard time kind of remembering all of the various different characters. Sometimes characters would just kind of be thrown at you and they would have some little thing why they were involved in the story, and then they would come back later and it would be more of a big deal. And I just had a hard time kind of remembering, like, this person, they start here at the beginning and they're back at the end, and I couldn't remember what they were doing within the whole narrative. So yeah, that might just be a personal complaint. I'm just someone that if there's too many characters, I lose track of all of them. But either way, Anthony Horowitz, he was able to tie up every single loose end by the end of the book, and I just don't know how he did it. Overall, I highly enjoyed this book, and I highly recommend it, especially if you do enjoy the original Doyle stories. If you've actually never read a Sherlock Holmes story, this might not be a bad place to start. Sometimes with Doyle's original stories, they can be a bit too slow and kind of boring and a bit dry. So I think if you do want more of a modern take, but like I said earlier that it's still old-fashioned, this might be a really good place to start and then maybe get into Doyle. And also, if you are a fan of the original Doyle stories, I think you will particularly love this because there's so many call-outs and shout-outs to the previous adventures of Sherlock and Watson, which was really cool. The references were always just really cleverly done, and I just enjoyed that. So have you guys read The House of Silk? Do you plan on reading it? Just let me know in the comments below. So that's it for this book review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this book review, you may like these other book reviews. Bye guys.